I don't know what to do, to be honest with you, because I stay home. I really don't know what to do. If I take a day off, I go crazy because I'm so used to running around that I can't sit down. If I sit down and watch a little TV, which is what I like to do, because I like peace. I like to be quiet. I like to be, and I sit down. I can't watch too much TV because I start developing headaches. Because I gotta start moving around. My body starts itching. My blood starts moving.
Wow.
And I'm so used to putting myself out there for someone else that every time I see somebody in need, whether it's in the Central Ward, the North Ward, the South Ward, the West Ward, it doesn't matter where I'm at, where I go. I could be out of the state. If I see someone in need, I'm just gonna help them. It's just my nature.
Your nature.
And
we need to have someone, not to saying that the current people in office is not, that, but we need to have someone of a genuine nature to help. Now, with that being said, as far as the unemployment at this point in time, what is your campaign, your projections on how are you going to get people currently that's out of work back to work and things like that?
Okay, let me. I have to try to put this in a way where everybody understands, because the city council is. In the city of Newark, you have the administration, and then you have the council body. It's two total different entities, right? Now, not saying that we can't do anything. We can do a whole lot. The problem is bringing the programs that that can help the citizens of the city, right? And then having the body agree with you, and having the administration move forward with it. Because as the legislative part of the administration, our job is to deal with more laws and the budget situations and the spending process and all of that stuff. Now, as a council person, we can bring somebody. Let's say, for instance, I met the NFL players, which these guys are awesome. And let me tell you that the program that they have, it is such an awesome program, and I wish we can have it in Newark every day.
And let me ask you, is that the Gridiron program?
The Gridiron,
okay,
yes,
Gridiron.
The Gridiron program. And I met these. Darian is actually a Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl champion, right? And then Damien is also played with the Tampa Bay Bucks. He got there a year or left a year before, so he's unfortunate. He didn't get a ring, but In all the reality, these guys are so awesome to work with, because they came to us. Jose Morales brought us to. He called me first. He said, "Arce, I actually met Jose at the gym."
Okay.
And he says, "Listen, I got this group of guys that are ex-NFL players, and they want to bring something to the city. I understand that you work for the city and that you're a chief of staff to a councilman." And I said, "Yes." And we started talking. That's how we clicked. He introduced me to the football players. They brought the program, and I fell in love with it. I said, you know what? We need this. This is something that can occupy our youth and keep them off the street.
Yes.
You can also find, because a lot of these kids got so much talent, and we would never know, because we don't have anything for them to do.
Absolutely.
So these guys came, and I introduced them to them. I introduced them to Margarita Muñiz, who was the deputy mayor in the city of Newark.
I remember her being
and she's in charge of the majority of the recreational stuff that goes on. And I hooked them up with her, and we did this big thing at Nat Turner Field, which was awesome, and the turnout was great. And I could tell you that I hope that we can continue bringing these guys back to the city. I mean,
Definitely.
at least make this I'm trying, excuse me, when we get in office.
When you get in office.
I want to make this a year, a year program that we bring them to the city of Newark at least once a year, for the week or the 2 weeks that they need to bring the program to the city, and start teaching these kids the basic football plays and the training sessions and all of that stuff.
That is excellent. I'm definitely glad to hear that you are, giving back, and that program will just put, our kids, our children, our future off the streets and into positive avenues. They'll explore different avenues that they're not aware of. And football and sports, kids love that stuff.
They sure do.
It's serious.
Yeah.
It's very serious. So I'm excited that you are devoted to the children of Newark because you see all the gang statistics, and I think it's complicated, but it's simple. Kids need love, and they need someplace to go.
Well, the beautiful thing about me is also that I have 4 children, and 3 of them live with me, and my 2 boys are actually, my son Aaron just graduated from Barringer High School.
Oh, congratulations!
And thank you. And they always tell me, Dad, we got to do this, and I sit down and listen to them because they are growing up. They are in this environment.
Yes.
They know the languages. They know the moves. They know what's going on. They know what these kids want and don't want. They're in that environment. They talk to them, and they always bring it back to me. Dad, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're doing, and I take it from them. So I feed off of their feed, and that's what makes me keep going. It motivates me. Like, what can we do? And I talk to my kids. If I was to do something as a council member, what would you guys want? So when you start getting stuff, if you bring a bowling alley, this would be awesome.
Right.
If you can do this. So I'm sitting here saying, wait a minute. If we can go talk to all these movie stars and all these actors and come here and bring buildings, why can't we talk to them to bring something like that to the kids? A bowling alley, a basketball court. We have a basketball court up in Brunswick Park off of 7th Avenue, which is the Central Ward, but that doesn't belong to the city, it's the county's.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to ask permission from them. We got to pay them some type of fee to get in. So we need something that we can just say, this is yours.
Right.
You don't have to go get permission. You don't have to go get no permits. This is yours.
Right.
Enjoy it.
And I have a question. Why is it that the city, the state of New Jersey, the city of Newark, we don't have any teams? Like, we had the Nets, New Jersey Nets. Now there's the Brooklyn Nets, but we had a stadium here downtown, the Prudential Center, but we don't have nothing. Hockey, that's pretty much the only thing. Hockey.
The New Jersey Nets were sold to, as you guys already know, I forgot the guy's name, and Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, and there's another guy involved. I forgot his name. But they were never New Jersey once they were sold. The reason why they had to stay here was because they had to fulfill the contract they had, and the plan was always to move them out of New Jersey to Brooklyn.
Right.
But I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm hearing through the grapevine, or I heard through the grapevine, that Shaq was planning on bringing a team to Newark. I don't know how true that is,
Right.
but that's what I heard. And hopefully, if that was just talk, I would like to follow up with that.
Definitely.
I would like to definitely talk to Shaq and say, listen, you should bring a basket. Even if it was talk or no talk, you should definitely bring a team.
Right. Or even bring a professional baseball team,
Well, we have the Newark Bears.
Yeah,
they're
the Newark
they're
Bears.
not
Yes, the Newark
professional.
Bears.
Yeah.
I do know the Newark
Yes,
Bears.
I have sung
Yeah.
the national
And you know the
anthem
yeah, I missed that one.
Yes.
But you know that the Newark Bears have had a lot of professionals. They've had, they've had Jose Mesa. They've had
Jose Canseco.
Tim Raines, the manager. They've had, Ricky Henderson. They've had, all these guys that played in the majors, which is a good thing for us and our kids because they get to meet somebody that they follow in baseball or professional baseball.
Okay.
But you're right. We definitely have to work on something.
Yeah,
we
please.
definitely
Work on that.
But listen, this is the way this works, though.
Uh-huh.
People believe that I elected you to do something, and they want to just back off of you and leave things alone. The citizens need to understand, and the residents need to understand that you need to get involved.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're not only electing someone to just run for, we ran for office, you elected us, and we won.
Right.
And then you're going to step back and say, let's see what you can do.
Right. It's our
I
voice. We have
want to make
step
sure that
up.
I go out to the community every day. I want to make sure that I bring you and get you involved
Right.
in what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said that I wanted to start a committee with seniors and bring 2 or 3 seniors and put them in charge of that committee so that whenever there's issues with these privately owned buildings or what have you, they get together with this committee and say, okay, let's go to City Hall now as the committee and say, this is what's going to happen. I want to put a committee together with the parents. I want to get a bunch of parents together and put a committee together. So how can we fight to get our school system
Right.
How can we fight to make sure that we take control of these schools again? Because the government took over and we're worse than we were when we had control of the schools.
Absolutely.
Now you got the governor closing schools down and smashing everybody up in one building,
Yes.
which doesn't make any sense to me.
Ridiculous. Awful.
So what are we getting?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is some of the stuff that I want to do, and some of the committees that I want to start because I need to get the public involved. They need to understand that your job is not just go out and vote. you have to get involved.
Do you guys hear that, residents?
I'm
Everybody,
on
you have
board
to get
already.
involved. You have to get involved. Make that statement. Let your
Definitely.
voice be heard.
Definitely, and make them accountable. If promises need to be made, we all have to do our part. You make me want to come to Newark and move and volunteer.
I've always said to, and I tell all my friends all the time, if you don't know how to read or write, you can't teach somebody to read or write.
Right.
If you don't know politics, you can't teach someone else about politics. And if you don't get involved in your community and in your how do you call it, your local government,
Your local
how do
government.
you know what's going on? How do you know what's moving in City Hall? You just don't just go to City Hall and ask for a donation for whatever you need to get done for your, or reimbursement for your barbecues or what have you. Go to City Hall and demand for your politicians to show up and say, listen, I'm doing this barbecue, I'm bringing you these receipts because I want to get reimbursed for it, but I want to see you there. The public wants to see you there.
Right.
I want you to tell us what's going on. You know, if you guys have watched the council meetings that we have, there's always the same people writing up to talk, the 3 minutes of talk.
Right.
The same people constantly.
But I have a question because City Hall can be discouraging. I mean, you know, when you go there, you don't get the answers and people get discouraged. It's something, I guess, that you're going to have to be consistent. And the ones that talk are the ones that fight and are there every week or every time you have a meeting. So what would you suggest as a way to overcome some of the obstacles? Because sometimes people don't want to give you information.
Well, what I suggest as an elected official, I would want every resident in the Central Ward that has an issue or a comment to call our office, send us an email, what have you, or any way of communicating. Communicate with our office, tell us what's the problem. Because I'm going to tell you the truth, I have no problems going out to the street. I have no problems coming to your house. I have no problems talking to you about anything.
Wow.
And the guys that sit with me are exactly like we are. We're not afraid to go anywhere. We will go anywhere, anytime, and you just tell us what has to get done and we do it. And we say all the time, and I'm telling all my guys today and every day, don't promise anything that you can deliver, number one. And number two, I always tell people, what can be done is going to get done. And what can't be done is not going to get done.
Okay, and what we got to do, we got to pay the bills right now, and we'll be right back with you. We'll be right back with you guys.